and hello ED4. Thank you guys so much for having this conversation with me today about activism and the future. Now, Millie, a question for you. I love talking about the role that young people can take, like many of the people who are watching right now, when we are dealing with these big global issues. And Millie, I know you, working with UNICEF to support children everywhere, have lots of experience with this. What type of role do you think that young people can play right now?
Young people have been positive agents of change in the fight against COVID in so many ways, leading their communities to support and protect vulnerable people, using school technologies to produce protective equipment, and making sure their friends and family have accurate information on the virus. It all shows what a difference we can make. The problem has never been that young people's voices weren't loud enough. I think I learned that. It's that they need to be listened to and taken seriously when decisions are made that affect them and their futures. So one thing that needs to be considered is how young people who don't have access to the internet can take part in these conversations. And as a UNICEF Goodwill ambassador, I am a champion for children's rights, and that means every child. Leaders need to look at ways to make sure children and young people everywhere are heard, including the most vulnerable. So some of the most incredible solutions, I think, will come from them.
That is such an important point. And I think with this generation in particular, it's about talking with them and to them and not about them, not just things that are going to potentially affect their future without involving them in that discussion. That is such a great point. Thank you, Millie. Now, ED4, what can we all do to help create that world where they are involved in these conversations? And then is there a role that the global goals can sort of play as markers for us with this activism in the future?
Yes, so let me pick up on something that Millie just said, which is finding solutions. That's a real hallmark for what this century's activism is going to be like. It's going to be creating and designing solutions. So it's just underline, great point, Millie. I'm so glad you made it. Your voice makes a huge difference. So the global goals are a blueprint for action. They're powerful. They carry power within them. But we want everyone's handprints all over them. You'll find somewhere in those global goals something that really connects for you. These goals are for everyone. They're about everyone. They're to include everyone.
I'm loving the girl power on this panel right now. And that's enough questions from me, and we will keep the girl power going here because we are going to bring in someone else right now. This is Yael Krupnikov. She is a 17-year-old from Argentina, and she's got a very important question for you. I know she's going to knock it out of the park. She's coming on in now.
Hi, very happy to be here with you all. My question is, when it comes to activism, there can sometimes be a lot of conflict between people from different generations because each may feel like the other doesn't understand. Adults sometimes think that young people don't care or don't know enough about current affairs, and meanwhile, teenagers often feel misunderstood or ignored by the adults around them. So how can young people lead collective action in their own way so that they are heard and so that their voices have a true impact?
That is a great question. ED4, do you want to take it first?
I'd love to. Okay, I love that question. Being one of the older people, I want you to know that there's much more interest among older people to connect with younger people and to do something with you. So my suggestion would be choose one of the goals, one that really connects with you. So let's say it's oceans, and choose something about it that you say to yourself, I want to find a solution for this. And then begin studying, know everything there is to know about it, listen to what other people are saying, develop that wonderful term empathy, so that you can hear what's on another person's mind and what their heart feels, but find out what they're thinking about it, because there could be many ways to come up with solutions, and then come up with some solutions to do together. And ask an older person to do something with you. You know, they were young too. They'll get it. They'll want to say yes to you.
And Millie, what do you think?
Yeah, I just want to add, I think that we've seen a lot of solidarity between generations recently. I think young people have shown that they understand that the crisis can affect older people and maybe even some of their relatives. So they have to adapt their behavior to help protect the most vulnerable. And hopefully this solidarity is something, you know, we can take forward into the future. I know that I love working with my grandmother on things, even though, you know, now she doesn't sometimes know the exact current affairs that are going on. I know that I love working with her in finding solutions and making a difference.
And Yael, again, great question. Thank you so much for bringing that to the conversation. And now I've got a final question for all three of you that we'd love to hear from. How would you reimagine what the world could look like tomorrow? And I know that's big and open-ended, but you know, what are some of the things that you really hope for? Fore, I'll start with you.
I'd love to see a world that didn't see age as being a barrier in any way. That would be one. The second one is, I would love to see a world that comes out of COVID stronger than when it entered it. We can build a world back better, and we can build a world that has Yael's social cohesion, where we're talking among generations, that has Millie's activism, that is finding solutions. So if we want that, then let's encourage governments to invest in things like connectivity, so that this next generation will have the chance to create all of those better solutions among themselves.
I like the sound of your world of tomorrow, Fore.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Let's do that.
Millie, what about you? What do you think?
In my role at UNICEF, I talk a lot about kindness. This is something that is very important to me personally. We've seen an overwhelming amount of kindness over the last few months. So it would be incredible if we kept this going. We need to support each other, especially on social media. We have to make sure it isn't a place of bullying and harassment. It can actually bring people together and be a place of love and support and inspire social change.
I love that too, you guys. We're building a beautiful tomorrow right now. Now, to end our conversation, Yael, we'd also love to hear from you on what you'd reimagine the world to look like tomorrow.
Thank you. I think what Millie has been saying about social media is really key. It's really one of the best tools that we have to make our voices heard and spread important messages. So I'd love to see a world where more young people use it to get involved with causes they believe in and propose new policies or ideas. I'd love to reimagine a world where politics and activism are open to young people, where they're allowed to take part in the discussions that matter and where their voices are heard. You know, more diversity at the decision-making table will mean that the decisions we arrive at will also become more diverse. And so new perspectives and new solutions will appear, as well as role models that show other teenagers that we can make a difference. And so that makes me really hopeful for the future.
I like how, Yael, when you were talking in each of our little boxes, we were all nodding like this. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, she's amazing. I love listening to you, Yael. Winnie loved your speech. She said, "Good job, Yael. You did a great job over in Argentina."
Well, thank you all so much, Winnie. Welcome, and thank you for joining at the end here. And Fore, Millie, Yael, thank you guys so much for a wonderful conversation and for the work that you're doing and the empathy that you exhibit just all the time. It's clear in the words that you guys have all chosen and spoken today. So thank you so much. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Savannah. Bye, Millie. Bye, Yael.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.